The November 8th meeting of the Sherwood Planning Commission is called to order. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Harris.
Here.
Gillum.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Penny.
Here.
Phillips. Here.
First item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes of the previous meeting? And do you have any comments or corrections?
Make motion to approve the written.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Call the roll, please.
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Penny.
Aye.
Phillips. Aye.
We've got about 10 items on the Planning Commission tonight. And then after we close the Planning Commission, we have 2 items on Board of Adjustment. Madam Secretary, would you call the first item on the subdivision review there?
A preliminary plat for Lot 1, Home Living Trust Edition, Marlar Engineering Company, agent.
City engineer, do you have any comments on this?
Yes, I had a few comments initially that have all been addressed. As part of this, they are requesting a waiver to the Half Street improvements on Woodruff and a waiver to the Half Street improvements on Home Road. Staff would recommend that the curb and gutter and sidewalk be put on Woodruff Avenue, that we don't allow that waiver, but staff has no problem with the waiver of the Half Street improvements on Home Road. There is no curb and gutter or storm drain on Home Road, and matter of fact, Public Works just overlaid that today. So staff has no problem with that waiver, but would request that Woodruff Road, that would continue, that developer just did part of that, and that would continue it to Home Road, where we'd have curb and gutter and sidewalk.
I agree. It's brand new curb gutter and sidewalk for a couple of 100 yards to the west there. Applicant, do you have any comments?
The client has agreed to do curb and gutter. Would you like to come over, Mr. Helm? And anything you'd like to say? Is there anything you'd like to ask him or anything?
Curb and gutter,
Curb gutter or sidewalks or?
well, not sidewalk, no. There's not sidewalk on any other part of that street except up to the west of it.
Yeah,
That's the only place we're talking about, is just on Woodruff, but not on,
There's one more, curb and
Yeah,
gutter.
just on where towards the right here.
Curb and gutter on the wood, right.
Curb gutter, sidewalk right
No,
there.
I ain't gonna go sidewalk. I can't afford that sidewalk part. There's not any sidewalk on the north side, on the east side.
yeah, typically we only put sidewalks on one side of the street, and of course they're
Pardon me.
about 100 yards of new sidewalks over to the west.
Yeah, they just put the sidewalk down here.
I didn't put it there.
No, but the neighbor here did.
Well, I can't afford it. I can't afford the sidewalk. I can put the curb and gutter, and that's all I understood I had the requirement to.
Well, I don't know, what do you think that lot's worth, about 15,000 or something? Any comments or questions? Need a motion, one way or another.
Well, we ain't got no, can't get sidewalks. Make a motion that we deny it.
Do I have a second?
No, second.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to deny this plat approval due to the refusal of sidewalk. Would you call the roll, please?
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Penny.
Aye.
Phillips.
You just denied the approval of the plat.
They didn't approve the plat because you wanted the sidewalk.
I'd like to go back to tax system, because I can't afford much sidewalk when it's none to the east of me, or the north of me, there's no sidewalks. There's none to the east of me or the north of me, the sidewalks. There's
Okay.
curb and gutter, but no sidewalk.
We understand. Thank you. Since we denied item 4, there's no point in going to item 5. I think we should go to item 6, a preliminary plat for North Hills Church Edition. Madam Secretary, would you call item 6, please?
A preliminary plat for Lot 1R, North Hills Church Edition, Marler Engineering Agent.
City engineer, do you have any comments on this?
They are also asking for a waiver to the street improvements on Cardinal Lane, which staff has no problem with that since there's no curb and gutter on there.
Right.
The variance will actually be heard at the Board of Adjustment, but the reason for that variance is, this came in as I guess you can say a non-conforming use. There's a 25-foot setback that's required along Cardinal Lane, and a part of their existing building sticks into that 25-foot setback. So it's existing, it's not new construction. The reason for their plat is they've purchased some more property, so they're trying to plat it all into one piece of property. When you make your motion, if it's approved, it does need to be approved contingent upon that variance being approved.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve it, condition on that.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve the item 6, the preliminary plat for Lot 1R, North Hills Church Edition. Would you call the roll, please?
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Penny.
Aye.
Phillips.
Madam Secretary, would you call item 7?
A final plat for Lot 1R, North Hills Church Edition, Marler Engineering Agent.
This is the exact thing you just approved.
Make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve the final plat for Lot 1R, North Hills Church Edition. Would you call the roll, please?
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Penny.
Aye.
Phillips.
Okay, Madam Secretary, would you call item 8?
A preliminary plat, waiver for street improvements for Bates Edition, Stephen Beadle, Surveyor.
City engineer, do you have any comments on this?
The plat does meet our minimum requirements. It is an oversized lot, typical of those that are in the rural area. Once again, we'll have to dedicate the right-of-way for Jacksonville Cato, but the street was designed with ditches and no curb and gutter, so staff would recommend for approval.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve item 8, preliminary plat. Would you call the roll, please?
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Penny.
Aye.
Phillips.
Madam Secretary, would you call item 9, please?
A final plat for Bates Edition, Stephen Beadle, Surveyor.
This is same thing, final plat.
Make a motion to
Can I
approve
make a
that.
comment?
Yes, please.
And I don't know if this comes in here or if it needs to come in when we do our site plan, but he wanted a waiver on paving his driveway all the way out to the street.
That will have to be done as a separate request at the time, and that can be done at the time he submits his
Site plan.
site plan and
Okay.
Can I make a motion to approve it?
Yes, you did. Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve the final plat.
Who was the second?
Michelle.
Okay, Harris.
Aye.
Gillum,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Penny,
Aye.
Phillips.
Let's see. Got so much stuff going on here, can't keep track of all of it here.
Mark it.
Would you call item 10, please?
A final plat for lot 21R1, 21R2, and 22R, block 305, Park Hill, Marler Engineering Company, agent.
Okay. You have any comments on this, please?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is turning 4 lots into 3 lots.
2 lots into 3, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
Just cutting off the back half. It's been a regular routine in our neighborhood for, I guess, the last 75 years. I've done it on quite a few corners of the neighborhood. My wife and I would like to build it on that building. We're moving an older home into that lot, 21R. And I spoke with you the other day, I met you outside by accident. And I told you I'd be more than willing to move those 2 sheds and the greenhouse and the larger shed. We'd like to leave those 2 there because they're going to be there when we're done putting a house there anyway. The greenhouse is pretty good size and not real easy to move a glass structure. So we'd like to leave those 2 there if we could. And if the third one on the corner needs to be moved, we're happy to move that too, so whatever y'all. And also the curb and gutter, the only curb and gutter on that street is the curb and gutter I've already paid for at 512 there on the corner lot 21R. And I don't believe it's necessary, but I'm probably going to put one in anyways because I put that one there. And I would really like to see the whole street curb and guttered someday, but that's a dream far away. But and as far as the sidewalk, there are no sidewalks on either side of the street anywhere in that area. Matter of fact, I think there's 4 blocks where there's Delmont, Sherwood, Lenora, and Fairway. None of them have sidewalks on them.
Yeah, this looks like a good one. I went out and looked at it, and there are 2 structures that can remain. They're in good shape, and they're not close to the street. Recommend, my personal opinion is we ought to approve it.
I make a motion to approve final plat of lot 21R, 21R2, and 22R, block 305 for Hill Edition.
I second.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve. Would you call the roll, please?
Harris,
Aye.
Gillum,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Penny,
Aye.
Phillips.
Can I just ask for one clarification? Which sheds are you proposing to leave and which one?
The 2 in the right-hand corner, as you're looking at it, ma'am, the one in the corner is not a shed, it's a greenhouse, the very far right corner.
Okay.
And the other is a 10 by 12 or 12 by 12.
These
The
2.
2 larger ones.
It's a much larger shed, yes. Some runners.
He's gonna move this one, he has to move this one.
Good to me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you call item 11, please?
A final plat for 1012 Country Club, Andy Wilson, owner.
Do you have anyone here representing Andy Wilson?
Yes.
City engineer, do you have any comments on this?
Somewhere.
I got down here, well, Ellen recommend, let's see if she does.
This one is a little different. We have done, it's similar to what a lot of those lots, they have asked that they be, the corner lots, that they be platted into one lot. This one is going to require a waiver to the minimum depth on both of them. There will be 2 smaller lots than what's typical. We have heard from several of the neighbors out there some concerns. And so I don't know if staff could recommend for approval.
This is at 206 Lenora.
Right.
No, this is.
No,
10,
10, 12 Country Club.
10, 12.
Okay. Item 11,
Okay,
It's number 11.
item 11.
do you have any comments to make, sir?
Just that I purchased this lot, and actually I intended to build a house for a rental property, and a friend of mine built some of these in Sherwood. There was one just recently constructed at 7901 Pinto Trail. It's a new home that was constructed and moved into a couple of months ago. And I was back there with my wife, and this lot's, you know, it's 180 feet deep, and it's got a great big overgrown tree right in the middle of the back of it. And I have 3 other homes all within the vicinity of this vicinity map on this plat. One that I live in and 2 are rentals. And I was just talking to my wife about, you know, the tree. There's some trees that need to be cut. And I've had this situation before, and I've got one lot over in Claremont that I have a rental property. The lot is 300 feet deep, and I essentially pay about $1,200 a year to keep the back of that lot because, you know, my experience over in the Park Hill addition, and I've lived over there for 25 years and had some rental property over there, but these big homes are hard to maintain, so I wanted to do something smaller. And anyway, Deborah said, you know, it'd be nice if you could build like a cottage back here, because it is kind of like if it had a home up front that was done right, and you did a privacy fence to screen the house directly to the right, it kind of looks back on the back end of Henson Park. And I got to thinking about it, and thought, well, I'll draw something up. And I've got a little home here that I'd like to pursue this option. And the real difference is for me, you know, I've remodeled some things and all that. Generally, when I'm done with it, people look at it and go, wow, this is really nice. You know, that's kind of, I've kind of consider myself a little bit of a craftsman. And I'm happy to build the rental property like the one on Pinto Trail, but if I could put two houses on their smaller houses, I could just do a little bit more in terms of improvements. You know, with concrete and fences and retaining walls and that kind of thing, I could, you know.
I thought this was gonna be for your aged grandmother or something.
No, I mean, I've got a daughter out there that, you know, there's some consideration in that, but that's not really, you know, those things don't always work out. It's essentially just, those rental properties are for a retirement vehicle more than anything else. And also I enjoy constructing things.
We've had comments from the public that our people are opposed to it. This time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this one way or another, if they would come forward. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Council, my name is Ed Franklin. My mother owns the house at 1010 Country Club, which is right next door, and has since 1964. She's 91 years old. She wanted to be here tonight, but didn't feel like she could make it. She's opposed to this because of what it does to the neighborhood. All of those are single family lots. Dividing the lot would in fact diminish the size of the property, and in fact would change the feeling of the neighborhood and what the neighborhood's been all these years that she's lived there. So we're very much against the division of the lot and putting 2 homes on that lot.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Thank you. I'm Marcia Cook, and I live at 1105 Country Club, just in the next block up. And I'm agreeing with this gentleman. The neighborhood is pretty much, it's older homes. It's a quiet neighborhood. There's very few rental homes right there in that neighborhood. And I just feel like that's not a good idea. I would hate to see that happen.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Thank you for taking some time tonight to consider this. I'm Darren Austin. I live at 1014 Country Club, which is directly next door to this property we're speaking of. And I speak against replatting this to 2 because of the increased traffic you're going to have there. While no doubt Mr. Wilson will do a good job of what he's doing, I think you're going to have too much traffic. It's a non-conforming situation with the neighborhood. Obviously, this neighborhood's been planned out for individual homes on one lot, and they all look very similar to each other down through there. So we appreciate your time and consideration, and to vote no to this. Thank you very much.
Are you getting their names?
I am.
Good, okay. State your name, please.
I'm Beverly Williams, Alderman Beverly Williams, and I thank you for your service on this commission. I respect Andy and the work he does for the city, and totally, it's not speaking against Andy, but as the alderman of that particular ward, I've had several phone calls and actually called Ellen about it. And while I don't live on that property, I live around the corner of Coolhurst, just a couple of blocks down, but I've had several of the neighbors ask me if I would come on their behalf to speak tonight. 2 are in the hospital and 1 is ill, so I said I would. So they were opposed to that splitting. One of the reasons they're opposed to the access from the back part of the lot. They said, how would you get there? So just.
Thank you.
My name is William McClintock. I live directly north of that lot. There's an alley there, right away. We've already got enough traffic there, and I'm opposed to this.
You live in the house, okay, where you come in.
It's 105 Claremont,
Okay. Yeah.
directly north. Right. We've been there for 40 plus years. I'm here for my mother tonight. She does
Okay.
not want it that way.
Thank you.
Based on what the neighbors are telling me, I'm just going to respectfully withdraw my application.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Adam Tool.
Madam Secretary, would you call item 12, please?
A waiver for Miller's Glen Phase 2 requiring concrete ditch improvements, Marler Engineering agent.
That is my lead, Mr. Reed.
I was Steve Deere. Jason said, you go up there, but then he started coming up.
Okay, tell us about this.
Well, there's a ditch area between the 2 phases. It's about 35 foot wide. There was some, I guess, concern of it might need to be paved for maintenance purposes, but the POA is the one who maintains it. You know, they keep it mowed, weed eaten and everything. And also from researching the actual ordinances, it says that it doesn't say it shall be concreted, it says it may be concreted, maybe grass wells, maybe riprap. And plus, you know, we did a core study on all that land. These days, you know, the EPA and the Corps and everybody wants to get involved on ephemeral streams and everything. And they approved all of it, but they said they do like as natural drainage areas as possible. So.
I'd recommend we leave it just like it is.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second to approve the proposal. Would you call the roll, please?
Harris,
Aye.
Gillum,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Penny,
Aye.
Phillips.
Is that satisfied?
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. More concrete there.
Let's see, Madam Secretary, would you call the next item, please?
A zoning for a lot between 9001 and 9025 Warden Road from R1 to C4. Rowell agent.
I'm Steve Whitwell. I represent Rowell LLC. We have two matters on your agenda today. The first one is the 9,000 block of Warden Road, which is the one that's been called. We additionally have an adjoining property that is the next item that is for Pleasure Lane. It's our understanding that the staff has recommendation for approval of the one on Warden Road, and based upon the recommendation of staff concerning the second, which is on Pleasure Lane, we respectfully withdraw that application for rezoning and would request that you consider granting our request for rezoning consistent with the recommendation of staff, consistent with the master plan of the city, and the fact that the definition of C4, this being on 167 Warden Road, is consistent with what we should be allowed to be granted. That's
City engineer, do you have any comments?
There was I know there was a lot of concern, and staff did have concern, but personally, we're not discussing that one. I do appreciate them withdrawing that. But he is correct that our land use plan does allow C4 on Warden Road, and there is still a lot of residential in the area, but staff would recommend for approval of that one.
And I think eventually all that on Warden Road will go commercial. Right. And then not really suitable for residential. So.
We do have people that want to speak.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this one way or another?
Good evening to the Planning Commission and to the residents of Sherwood. I'm Lila Burns. I live at 8833 Wharton Road. And I'm the only house right there now. There is commercial on the other side of me. But there is enough commercial there that when I go out to my mailbox to pick up my mail and I look both ways and boom, something almost knocks me on my face from trying to get my mail out. I think there's enough commercial. We will welcome you as a resident there to live with us. We do not need another amount for Warden Road for me. I'm there, I leave there every day. I'm an elderly person, and I do not want anything else to try to knock me on my face when I go to the mailbox. This is just not right. We have enough there. If you all will go down the road and see, y'all come into our community, you've invaded us enough, and I would just like it to stop. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, thank you for the ability to come and just speak. My name is Darrell Bassett, and my property's 9025 Warden. We're talking about a community that has been in existence, residential community, has been in existence since 1961. I grew up there, spent all my time in this community. In fact, your statement that eventually we'll all be commercial, it will all be commercial only when the people die out and eventually sell the commercial. But this has been a continuously residential area, and it will continue to be a residential area. It represents the lifelong savings of the individuals that live along Warden Road. They came there, as my parents did, to try to realize a piece of the American dream, and that's very valuable. To go C4, the highest designation that you could do, to approve such a move would drastically impact the value of that property. It would also drastically impact the well-being of the community. We're talking about excess traffic, we're talking about a plethora of other things that come along with a designation as radical as a C4 designation. I would vehemently object to that designation. These individuals have come into the community. The community has no idea of what they intend to use the property as. These individuals have made no attempt to sit and discuss with the residents of the area what their intentions are. And so the only thing the community can derive from that is that their intentions would be hostile to the well-being of the community. And I would implore you to reconsider and not approve such a drastic designation. Thank you.
City engineer, how is this shown on the master plan?
It is shown as commercial.
Commercial?
And the master plan shows commercial. It doesn't go as, I don't think it goes right into detail as far as C1, C2, 3, 4. But the C4 designation in our zoning regulations does say that it's typically along Highway 67 north.
If there is some commercial that's further down at the end, the north end of this Warden Road. And there's some commercial down at the south end of Warden Road, near the overpass.
Right.
And, so we have one more person that would like to speak. Would you state your name, please?
To the chairman and to the committee. My name is William. I reside at 9001 Warden Road, which is adjacent to the property that's being considered. Brother Bassett, who just spoke, resides on the other side of the property. I sit at the corner of Pleasure and Ward. He sits at the corner of Caroline and Ward. There are two lots that you're considering between us, and I highly object to that being changed to C4. Lived there since 1964. Watched all of the property when it redeveloped. It is a quiet neighborhood, and I hate to see that property at this point in time change that would drastically impact the community.
Okay, thank you.
Could you state your name and address again, please? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Marshall, 9001 Wharton Road.
Okay, thank you.
To the committee, thank you for allowing myself, this is my wife, Martha Jones. We oppose, to any other encroachment on a quiet neighborhood. And we kind of understand how it is. We understand that it is on a access road and a freeway. But I feel as though that in the little area where we are, and it's unfortunate that our neighbor lost his property, we should have been more attentive in reviewing the tax records. If we had, we would have done the neighborly thing as to do what we should have done or could have done to preserve our little pocket, our little quiet pocket. You understand what I'm saying? I am the first black state auditor in the state of Arkansas. I came from New Orleans. I military Air Force base, served in Vietnam with citations and all those things. I could have filed for PTSD and all those things, but I'm a soldier. And I feel it's to those who perhaps lost their lives or those who was crippled. So I acquired my property. I worked hard, didn't have any money. I had to tear down houses to do my house. I'm at number 7 Pleasure Lane. And my wife and I, we struggled all our life. We didn't get any military benefits, no base privileges, any of those things. We acquired everything that I contribute to the good Lord in heaven. I'm now an ordained minister, and I thank God for my achievements, and I just feel as though that and I have nothing against, the gentleman that acquired the property, but I feel as though if he put himself in our shoes, and perhaps someone wanted to buy a piece of property in his area, maybe he's not as sensitive as I am. It's hard for myself to, as I have experienced in my life, to even acquire property. And now that I have a little piece of the rock, you know, I want to preserve it. I want to keep it for my children. And this is my wife, Dorothy Jones, and she may want to speak herself. But I wrote a little something down and that I had the property for over 50 years. I paid $50 a month to pay off the land, and then when I received a little bit endowed financially, I went ahead and paid it off, and it took me 30 some odd years to kind of finish up my property. And so that's a lot of sacrifice. I think, you know, I feel you feel my pain. You feel my being opposed of anything that will threaten, keep me up at night. You know, make me feel as though that my quiet neighborhood, that it will probably, you know, the encroachment of it will probably end any of my future. And I hope that I'm not like some that, well, let me just live on it and whatever. I hope that I made an investment for the future for my family, which many of you, when you make an investment, you hope to leave it on as a legacy. I mean, I spent my life, my blood, my time, my talent, everything, you know, for my property. I know I'm long-winded, but I'm very emotional about this thing. And we have a quiet neighborhood. All of our neighbors, they're here now. All of them probably speak for themselves. And we'd be more than happy for the gentleman here to come on out and be a neighbor and build him a home and kind of enjoy the peaceful, serene community that we have. And I feel as though just a little inch of it, which it was residential. You know, we don't want to, you know, profiteers. We want an individual who is an American, who feels like we feel, you know, the pursuit of happiness and all those things that is in our Constitution. And that if he wants to come out as a residential person, fine. But we feel as though that, I feel as though he would agree that I know it was an investment move on his part to acquire this piece of property. But listening to, and all of us will probably have opportunity to speak. To us, he would see that it would be a bad move, you know, and it would, you know, affect the feelings of all the residents that live there now. I feel as though I could just go on and on. Y'all got to stop me. But I'm gonna stop right now and say that I appreciate you. I'm a citizen of the community of Sherwood. I pay my taxes. And matter of fact, when I was building my home, some young boys broke in my house, bust my walls out. But do you know my good neighbors here surmised it? We called the police. I thought I had the whole police force over at my house, but they solved the crime within matter of less than hours or so. Solved the crime, took them to jail. I was given restitution, but I just want to say I appreciate the city of Sherwood. I'm a proud resident here. I love you guys. I love the police force. I had a Lindsay tray delivered to them as a thank you. I'm privileged now to go back there as, you know, honorary individual, and I got a picture of one of the officers in my pocket now. And any time, and I'll obey the law, but if I'm ever stopped, he said, just show him my picture. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you for listening to me. I don't know if my wife wanted to say something in reference to this.
I'm Dorothy Jones, wife of Robert Jones. I just want to say I'm a retired teacher, many years in North Lawrence District and Pulaski County, a few years, but most of North Lawrence. I want to ask a question that came to my mind. I think the Lord put on my mind to say is first to ask you a question. I don't know where you live. I really don't care where you live. That's your business. We're all adults. But I'm saying, how would you like to be the person in our position that someone came to your neighborhood tomorrow November 9th, and told you they were going to invade your property by them being financially able, a millionaire, a half a millionaire, or whatever. How would you like that? Ask yourself that question honestly as an adult, as a Christian, or whatever. Answer that to yourself. Can you live with that? He is an ordained minister. We've been married many, many years. In fact, we just celebrated 50 years this March. But ask yourself, how would you like that to happen to you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Say I'm a teacher, I count. But how would you like someone to tell you tomorrow or this month or November, holidays will come up and tell you, enjoy your Thanksgiving and Christmas with your family, but worry about emotional struggle, a mental struggle of thinking. You've sacrificed many years of labor, physical, mental, emotional, financial, and someone's going to come and take your property. You're not going to leave to your children. We have children, they're grown. But grandchildren, when they come or whatever, that's not correct. Can you live with that? Can you die with that? I think the Lord put that on my heart to say that to you. Live with your conscience. What he said is true. We work very hard and sacrifice. And so think about that. I would advise you to pray over it. Thank you.
Y'all very much.
Thank you.
My name is Rose White. I'm at 2 Pleasure Lane. I don't know what to say after this, but they said it all for me. I'm serious. Retired. I don't know what I can do if I have to move. House paid for and everything. We all are one big family on this street. It's just a street. You know? 5, 6 family members. We all came up together. I cannot afford to move anywhere else. I'm
Thank
happy
you.
where I am, okay? They just said everything that needed to be said about us, okay? I cannot afford to move anywhere else. That's just the way it is, okay? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Bob Williams of 3 Pleasure Lane. May I approach and pass some documents out that is relevant to my remark, and sir, I will be brief. I have one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, the document that you're looking at is a Sherwood Boys of 1985. But if I could continue to explain a little about that, I would like to go technical. From Indian Head Drive down Powhatan, you come to a stop sign to the east. A right, you come back south, that is the beginning of a one-way. A left to the north on Warden Road is a two-way. Coming down Powhatan, you will see a sign that says 25 miles per hour. But when you get to Warden Road and make a left northbound, bound, all the way to the radio station, which is in the city limits of Jacksonville, you will not see a stop sign. Running parallel with 167, on that street right now, Warden Road, northbound, I estimate vehicles travel 60 to 70 miles an hour. Now, still northbound on Warden Road is 2 used car lots. They're in the county. On your map, you might not see it, but you might know Caroline Sherwood ends, and that's Pulaski County north, which you all have no say so over those two car lots there. But the traffic down one road at this time is tremendous and dangerous. We see that 3 Pleasure Lane, my home of record since 1974. I didn't get back until '86, but my wife and 2 daughters was there. You have, and we appreciate the property that was requested at a 45-degree angle from me. You have pulled that, I understand. But the property on one road that still remains, the second speaker is next to his home where he grew up. And the 4th speaker is next to his house. So we're talking about commercializing a piece of property with 2 homes to the south and 2 homes to the north. Now, I appreciate your time, but this property is in a flood zone. Mr. Chairman, may I approach you and show you a document to be passed back? Thank you, sir. McDonald, Kentucky Fried, Indian Head, all of that water is coming at us. Now, in 1974, Shotgun Dead, Kentucky Fried, McDonald was all residents of color that go back to construction, slavery. They're gone. Mr. Chairman, you said we'll go. But if you're looking at those pictures of the first document that I passed out to you, I have 2 daughters on there. And neighbors that got kids on there. Those 2 daughters graduated from Silver Hills High School and the University of Arkansas. In 1985, I received a registered letter from the city of Sherwood advising me of rezoning, the same as I got here, 1985. We beat them 4 times. This is the 5th time. Are we gonna win again? What if this commission in '85 had approved with my 2 daughters and my neighbor's kid graduated from Silver Hills High School? I doubt it. It would look like McDonald's and Kentucky Fried. But having said that, due to the traffic, now Pleasure Lane, as you can see on the diagram there, is a dead end to the west. A lot of vehicles come up through there, not realizing it's a dead end at a great speed. At a great speed. But having said that, Mr. Commissioner and members, thank you. And hopefully, the flood, with that many questions about the flood, I can tell you a whole story about that, but for time being said, with that many questions about that water coming in, it actually jumped Pleasure Lane. And incidentally, Pleasure Lane was named William Lane at one time, after me. But it was changed, and that's a long story. But thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and those documents, if I may, get them back at some time.
Thank you for your comment. Sir, would you like to make one more comment, sir? Wait a minute.
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
I'm Glenn Humphrey, number 6 Pleasure Lane. Been living at that address for 38 years, and I oppose it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I respect the concerns that the neighbors have. In fact, based upon our application for the rezoning of 2 properties, both that join each other, the one on Warden and the one on Pleasure Lane, and based upon the work of your city engineer in reviewing and making recommendation, we honored that recommendation, and I'm sure that was based, concerned upon these neighbors. The Pleasure Lane property, we have withdrawn the request for the rezoning of that. However, with respect to the Warden Road property, which is consistent with your master plan, which is consistent with your ordinance, that even specifically in your ordinance it says that 67-167 can have C4 zoning. And there is going to be a lot of traffic on 67-167 Warden Road, regardless of what happens to this property. This property is not going to create trouble or create that problem. We're asking for rezoning, which we think we're entitled to, which is consistent with the things that the city has put in place, which is consistent with your professional making a recommendation. And if we get our rezoning, which we think we should get, then any time that we come and try to develop it, it's still subject to review by the city and its appropriate permits and appropriate uses, consistent with an engineering report as to if there's any water issues or any of those kind of things. So you still have control over what's ultimately going to happen with that property. We respectfully request that we be granted on the Warden Road property our request for rezoning.
Okay. I have some thoughts, comments. On the master plan, it is recommended or zoned for commercial. But that does not mean we have to give it C4. C4 is open display. As a matter of fact, I think some of the businesses down at the far end of Warden Road, near the C4. I think there's isn't there a funeral monument company down there? But anyway, C4 is open display. There's about, I think, 36 businesses that are allowed in C4, and most of them are things like boat sales, car sales, open display type stuff. We do not have to give C4. We've also got C1, C2, and C3. C1 is things like dentist office. I didn't bring my big book with me. There's like 165 things listed under C. C1, C2, C3, C4. C1 is things like dentist office, barber shops that have small buildings, not much noise, very little noise, no noise. See, and my thought right now, since it is zoned commercial on the master plan, we really, I don't think we can legally say we're going to turn down a commercial zoning. But one thing we can do, we can give it a C2, which is a very light commercial, and it would be consistent. It would not bother the houses up on Pleasure Lane. I drove down Pleasure Lane, looked it over. To me, I think as the years go by and 167 gets more and more heavily traveled, there's a lot of commercial over on the other side, the south side of 167, the southeast side. That is pretty much all commercial over there. On the northwest side is a lot of trees, really. But anyway, I'd like to ask our city engineer, do you have any comments?
You're looking at me, but you said the engineer, did you?
I mean, city attorney, I apologize.
No, I don't have anything to add, but I was going to ask the applicant if that would be acceptable to him.
If I may inquire, I think the more appropriate, if it were going to be changed, would be C3. And I think that would be a much more appropriate zoning for the location, for the volume being on 67 167, and that would do away with the concern of the open display.
Yes.
I mean, I would think that would be more appropriate, please, planning commission.
I sure wish I had my book with me, but I don't. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. Thank you, city engineer.
Sorry.
Let's see, C3, we got hobby shop, home center, home occupations, hospitals. As a matter of fact, hotel and motel is in there, but obviously this lot's too small for that. Household, office and equipment, ice storage and sales, industrial use is not listed, insurance and real estate, jewelry store, key shop, kennels, laboratories, laundromat, laundries, lawnmower sales, library, linen supply, locksmith, lodge or fraternal organization.
What do you want to recommend?
Tell you the truth, I'm kind of thinking C2. Musical instrument sales and repair, nurseries and garden supply store, nursing homes, office equipment sales, optical shop, ornamental iron shop, paint and wallpaper.
You want to make a recommendation?
I'd recommend C2. I think it would be consistent with the neighborhood. It would be a quiet business that's probably not open at night. C3, I think it's just a little bit heavy for it.
And C4 is.
C4 certainly is, yeah.
Okay, as it relates to his request to us from R1C4, so are we going to approve, we're going to disapprove that then?
Well,
You going to recommend that?
yes.
Well, I second it. Call for a vote.
I'd like to have a motion for C2.
Why?
Why?
Why bring that up right now? Let's just cover what's on here.
In other words, we'll just deny the C4.
Yeah.
City engine,
That's the agenda item that you're looking at.
That's the agenda
Okay.
item.
Right.
Yeah.
so we can deny C4.
Yes, you can.
If
Okay.
it pleases the commission, could I make a request that we defer this to the next meeting so that we have an opportunity to visit with staff and visit with all those uses and see what might,
We don't.
I mean, it looks to me like what we're on today is it's a C4 or a nothing. And if there's the opportunity, because this is a commercial planned area, and the question is, if we come back with something that might fit, would it be inappropriate to ask that it be deferred to the next meeting?
We deny it, can they bring it back up for C2?
We could.
I mean, you can withdraw this.
Yeah, you can withdraw.
And then resubmit it as a different use if you want to. If it's denied, you can take it to city council and appeal this recommendation too. So as far as I know, those are would be, and you could ask for it to be deferred till next month. But I'm afraid you just may end up with the same thing because we still proposed a C4.
In the interim, though, would we have an opportunity to amend our
Yes,
application?
you could do that. You could amend it.
So we wouldn't have to start all over again.
Yeah, you could do that.
I would request respectfully that you consider a deferral to the next meeting.
I'd recommend we let him do that.
Could you make that in the form of a motion?
Sure,
please?
make a motion, we let him come back next month.
Can I have a second?
You know, second?
Okay, dies for lack of a second.
Yeah, that's best I can do for you. It died.
I would request that we be allowed to withdraw our request at this time.
He can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that the last item?
It is.
Okay, That
No.
ends the planning commission.
Where's 13?
What is that?
14?
13, 14.
Oh, right.
That's what we just
I'm
done.
sorry.
No. 1, 3, 13.
That was I create the agenda and we just did 13.
That's what I thought.
You went straight from 12 to, yeah, you see the Miller's Cove.
Agenda's out there.
We just covered 13 and 14.
Miller's Glen, not Miller's Cove.
No, you did not.
We didn't do it.
Oh, we didn't do it.
Number 12.
12.
12.
Oh, that's okay. We missed it.
No, we talked about it.
12 is the one that,
We have 12.
Well done.
Oh, the agendas? After we took them off, yes.
12 is done,
Okay, we already
13
made
is
the copies and I forgot to change them.
Okay, the confusion is the agendas that got left out were for,
What about John? John's here for me, don't you, John?
for Miller's Cove.
Miller's Cove.
He withdrew that. He's not gonna touch the creek, so he doesn't have to ask for a waiver.
That's right. That's right.
So the agenda got revised and the ones that got put out there were the old ones, so I apologize that you did not get notified of that.
Which creek?
Okay.
Holy smoke.
The subdivision regulations, say that whenever we plat a lot, that I think we have to do improvements to the creek. And I just want to make sure that we don't have to do that if we plat that as one big 2-acre lot.
As long as you don't, yeah, as long as he does not touch the creek, which is what he agreed to do, he's leaving a buffer around the creek, he's not making any changes to the creek, it's in natural drainage and it's staying natural, then he does not have to ask for any kind of variance or waiver.
Okay, that's fine. That's what he's going to do, is just stay away from the creek.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Which creek?
Which creek?
This is, they're talking about the lot off America. Lot off America, top of the hill.
We don't even have it on our agenda.
No.
We don't know what you're talking about.
No, it got pulled from the agenda.
Okay.
The agenda was revised, but
Right.
some old ones
I'd
got
already
put
made
out.
copies of the old one and forgot to make copies of the new one when I placed those right out here.
Okay.
I did put the updated one on the website though.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion
We
to
just
adjourn.
got that
Second.
from
I have a
here.
motion and a second to adjourn. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please, for an
1 hour,
adjournment?
5 minutes.
I'm sorry, I missed the first and second.
Call the roll for an adjournment.
I missed the first and second. Who?
First was
You make the motion,
Miller.
Scott?
I made the motion.
Second.
I'm sorry.
You made the motion?
Yes, I made the motion.
And you seconded it?
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Harris? Gillum?
aye.
Miller? Penny?
Aye.
Phillips?
Aye.
Sorry, I got rattled for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Board of Adjustment. Call roll, please.
Harris?
Here?
Gillum?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Penny?
Here.
Phillips?
Here.
Y'all have had an opportunity to review the minutes.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Make second. Call roll, please.
Harris?
Aye.
Gillum?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Penny?
Aye.
Phillips?
Aye.
Okay, for the benefit of the group, the Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial entity, and as such, all testimony, sworn testimony, and the decisions made by this board of time can only be challenged to the court of law. So at this time, we'll swear in the city engineer. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. Secretary, please take the agenda.
A request for an expansion of a non-conforming use to allow for the demolition of an existing building and construction of a new building at 8013 Jacksonville Cato, Kenny McFessel, owner.
Okay. Is that gentleman here? You swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And your name, sir?
Kenny McFessel.
Okay, Kenny, tell us about it.
Yeah, we are wanting to tear down an existing building that is in between two new buildings that we built in the last 18 years. And we want to tear it down and then just rebuild another building in its place. So it's just not, while it was good as a church and an old fellowship hall, we've grown to the point we need to have, it's just not functional. So we want to tear down, rebuild something brand new right there.
Any questions?
In the same place.
Why he's here is because this came in as a non-conforming use because it didn't meet all of the setbacks. Although they own the property behind it, the lot that it's on, it doesn't meet the setbacks. So in order to make a change, he has to get permission from the group.
I move that we approve a request for expansion of non-conforming use.
I second it.
Motion made, second, call the roll, please.
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller. Penny. Phillips.
Next item on the agenda.
A
Thank you
variance.
all very much.
Thank you.
A variance request of 11 feet to the required 25 feet setback along Cardinal Lane for an existing building on Lot 1R, North Hills Addition, Marlar Engineering Agent.
This was the plat y'all looked at earlier, the church that asked for a replat, but they do need a variance to meet our current standards on that existing part of the building that's sticking into the 25-foot setback.
Any of you have any questions?
I move that we approve the variance request for Lot 1R, North Hills Church addition.
I second it.
Motion made, second, call the roll, please.
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller. Penny. Phillips.
Anything else to come before this group?
No, sir.
Make a
So
motion.
Helen, there were
I
no
make a motion
rezonings.
to dismiss.
I second it.
Motion made, second, call the roll.
Harris.
Aye.
Gillum.
Aye.
Miller. Penny. Phillips.
It does.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
I'm on the highway.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
On the second.